Hello, friends and neighbors. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button. Thanks for all your support the past couple of weeks. We can't thank you enough. Leave a like, leave a comment. Benny, where can they find us on social media?
Yeah, you can find us, Ray Benny Sports. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and of course, TikTok.
Let's get in. What?
And YouTube, I meant to say, but you know that already.
And YouTube. Opening weekend of NFL action. That's why I'm wearing the colors representing the Steeler Nation. And we'll get into our preview and predictions for our 4 big matchups of opening weekend for the NFL. But let's get into the rematches of Labor Day in the CFL. Most of them are rematches except one. CFL schedule makers still.
2?
Huh?
2 only rematches. That's it this time.
Oh, that's right. Toronto-Hamilton is not happening.
No.
Like, that's ridiculous. But that's the only other rematch that's not happening. Which other one is missing?
Yeah, that's the only one. So there's only 2 happening. Saskatchewan, Winnipeg, Calgary, Edmonton, and then...
Schedule makers. And you had 3 teams to choose from to rotate that by, and you still couldn't get the rematch Toronto-Hamilton. That's shameful.
Well, there was also no reason for them to play 4 times in the last 5 weeks either, but we digress on that one.
You know what? Maybe we won't digress. Maybe we'll pound it into the ground until they get this right. It's ridiculous. Anyways, sorry for yelling. Let's go to the first matchup of the week. BC, Montreal. Who you got in this one?
No, it's a tough one because I still don't know enough what's going on at BC quarterback position. I know Pipkin is starting.
Yes, sir.
Vernon Adams is the backup. Rick Campbell has said that Vernon will probably get in the game at some point on Friday. I wasn't impressed with Montreal last week against Ottawa. They had a good chance to kind of lock up almost second position there, and they failed. So reluctantly, I'm kind of leaning towards BC. I think I'm going to pick BC in this one. Yeah,
it will be interesting to see Antonio Pipkin play in Montreal with the reins of the BC Lions. I'm going to go with Montreal in this one. I'm already saying... Dang, I'm messing up. But I'm just going to go with Montreal. Home field advantage, new quarterback in BC, a little bit of uncertainty, and maybe that loss kind of refocus Montreal into what they need to do pushing into the playoffs. So I'll take them at home.
Maybe, yeah. They were at home last week, and they laid an egg against Ottawa, right? So
unbelievable.
You know, and this is obviously a big game. They lose, Ottawa wins. Now they're tied for second place. So BC is still going to be in flux. I mean, maybe Pipkin's going to go out and ball out because he wants to prove to his old team that he could do it, and they shouldn't have got rid of him. But I'm expecting we're probably going to see Vernon Adams probably by halftime.
Yeah, they definitely do got to get Pipkin in there because you never know if Adams gets hurt. You need that backup to come in. And BC's always dangerous. They have all those weapons on offense that Pipkin, as long as you don't make too many mistakes, you should be good. Just put the ball in their hands and they'll make plays. But
yeah, they had the bye week. They had the bye week to fix up some stuff, and maybe that gets Pipkin a little bit more comfortable. Yeah. We'll see Montreal's that D line, if they can get at him. They couldn't get at Arbuckle last week. So the whole line of BC is going to be under pressure.
They have like a game or 2 in hand where they can afford to kind of experiment and figure out what's going on, kind of a reset preseason for them to figure out their quarterback situation. So, you know, if they lose, there's not much dread. So we'll see.
No, chances are they're making the playoffs anyways, even if it ends up being a crossover. Yeah. You don't necessarily want that because that's traveling to the East time zone, 2 times. But, they're pretty much safe and probably locking up a playoff spot at sometime soon.
Yeah, we talked about Ottawa. Let's go on to the next matchup in a triple header on Saturday because you don't want to be playing on Sunday opening weekend against the NFL.
No.
That's a ratings disaster. So let's talk about Toronto-Ottawa. I'm going to take Ottawa in this one to win 3 in a row at home. I'm picking some weird ones this week. But yeah, I'm going to go with them. And Arbuckle not making too many mistakes. Toronto's kind of up and down. I still don't believe in 3 last names.
You know what? I'm agreeing with you on this one. I like Ottawa too.
Heyo!
Even though they haven't won a game at home so far this year.
Yeah.
I think their D can disrupt McLeod, Bethel, Thompson enough. And McLeod, he's been throwing up picks left and right, pick sixes left and right for the last few games. So I think BC's D can get enough turnovers in this game and pressure that Toronto offense enough. And then Arbuckle can get it done. Toronto's D is obviously tough too. Yeah. So Arbuckle is going to have to keep up what he's been doing the last 2 weeks. It'll be a close one for sure. Probably even a coin flip, but I'm going with Ottawa too on that.
Keep those mistakes down. Didn't Ottawa beat Toronto early in the year? And wasn't that in Ottawa?
In Toronto.
Oh, I thought that was Ottawa's first one of the year in Ottawa.
No, they haven't won it at home yet.
Ay, ay, ay.
They've won 3 now, right?
They won 2 in a row, and they beat Toronto earlier on in the year.
So 3 all on the road. So
ay, ay, ay.
Can Lapo's play calling be good for a whole game?
We're believing in Lapo for 3 in a row. 3 in a row.
I think we're crazy.
Making things interesting here on Ray and Benny. Let's look at the rematch, the Banjo Bowl, and a sold-out game. I can't wait. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be loud.
It's going to be
nonsensical. Who do you got in this one?
I got to go with Winnipeg. Pretty easy choice, I think, in that one. I think last week was Saskatchewan's chance to win it at home with that crowd behind them, and they couldn't get it done. I think Winnipeg comes out and probably controls this game a little bit more. I don't think it's going to be a blowout or anything like that, but I think with that crowd behind them, and like you say, sell out 33,000 plus. I know there's going to be some green in there, but I think it'll be enough. The biggest difference for me and these two teams is obviously discipline is huge. Winnipeg has it. Saskatchewan doesn't. Marino's finally gone.
Oh, goodness gracious.
But Saskatchewan's got to build off what they did in their first few drives of last week to have a chance and not shy away from that. They had the running game going. Bombers D's got to stop that run. And then the O-line of the Bombers, they got to give Clarles some time, and Clarles got to play a little bit less or a little bit more of a mistake-free game, I mean.
Yeah, I think the Bombers are who we've seen they've been for the entire year, and they're going to let a lot of yards. We're going to see them, like rushers like Kadeem Carey possibly crack 100 every game. We're going to see a receiver crack 100 yards a game. They're just going to let teams score. And I think with the home crowd, I think they're actually going to demolish Saskatchewan this week. I'm also taking the Winnipeg Blue Bombers to win at home in the Banjo Bowl. I think the defense will be even better. I'm hoping that O-line it's just missing an edge. They're not as nasty. And I guess I could put some on Desjardins, and maybe they're missing Couture as well. I'm still not convinced about the O-line and where they are right now.
Yeah, the tackles, though, Hardrick had a rough time last week, and so that's where they're kind of getting beat quite a bit too. And they couldn't get the running game going last week against Saskatchewan. So hopefully they can fix it up. They're at home. They got the crowd, should be fairly quiet when they're on the field. So maybe that'll fix it. But they got to limit that pass rush. I know it didn't get to Clarles too many times, but it did cause havoc back there a few times.
Yeah. And what about Leggio again? Shout out to that guy for having a good game.
Keep it going, buddy. Keep it going.
A good special teamer all round. Calgary, Edmonton. A good rematch in Edmonton. Edmonton's defense looked good last week. I don't know. For some reason, I think Calgary's going to look better this week, so I'm going to go with Calgary. I think Edmonton's still not going to win that game at home.
Not at home. Home seems to be their Achilles heel almost, and they play worse when they get at home than they do on the road.
Yeah.
So I'm going Calgary too. Jake Meyer's just going to continue to get better and play, and I don't think Edmonton's deep did a fairly good job against him last week. But I think it'll be a different story this week, and I think Calgary will probably roll in this game.
Yeah. I just think Dickinson will have them better prepared against that Edmonton defense. Dickinson, and I don't know how much Huffnagel has to do with any game planning or if he has any say in it, but I think they'll look at tape and they'll see something in Edmonton that they can take advantage of. Speaking of coaching, I don't think Dickinson in Saskatchewan's going to make it back next year.
No,
he's clearly shown. And the funny thing is, we talked about this like almost 2 months ago. I was like, this locker room looks like trash, and he won't make it if they don't make the Grey Cup. But what a mess. What a mess.
That's exactly it. He needs to make the Grey Cup probably, or maybe even the conference finals or something like that, or not division finals, to have a chance. Because otherwise, this team is undisciplined. The mistakes they made, the penalties they take, allowing these players to continue. Like Marino should have been gone a long time ago. Yeah, and that stuff should have been nipped in the bud. But you let it linger, and then other players were like, "Well, if he can do it." I get it. There's a line they almost want to be that team that gets to the edge, but they're going over that edge every time.
Duke Williams.
It's ridiculous, right? Duke Williams. Yeah, exactly. Taking stupid penalties on the field, so I agree with you on that one. He's probably not going to last if they don't make it. It was big because the Grey Cup's in Saskatchewan, right?
Well, they don't have the leadership.
They want to be there. So
they don't have the leadership for a team to play on the edge.
No.
If you're going to be a team like that who has edge and attitude, you got to have a good core of veterans to make sure you don't go over the edge. and play well at the same time, and they just don't have that.
Yeah, and I think that's what the biggest difference. Like everyone will say, okay, Winnipeg is 11-1, but they barely won some games. They've come close, but that's the difference. They have that discipline. They're not taking stupid penalties. We saw in the Montreal game, they took a bad penalty and they ended up losing the game, right? The offside on that third down play. So you can see where it ends up creeping up on you and it costs you a game. And for the most part, Winnipeg has that under control, and they got the veterans and the leadership on that team to control guys or teach guys once they get in there, hey, this is the way it's going to be. Stick with it or you're gone.
Saskatchewan is a mess.
Yes. Big time.
They're going to have to hit the reset button there. I could see maybe Fajardo not being part of a rebuild. Ugh, it's going to get uglier before it gets better in Saskatchewan, I believe.
The thing is, they have good players. Like they have a good D. They have good players. Fajardo's hit and miss so far this year, but again, I think to me the biggest blame right now is coaching.
Yeah, they have no good players on the O-line. That's for sure.
That's the one position they're suffering at for sure. And they got a few guys that are on their injury report too. So who knows what happens by the time the game comes, if they're playing or not.
Let's move on to the NFL opening weekend. We have 4 matchups that we're going to look at. You want to start off with the Packers and the Vikings?
Yeah, let's do it for sure.
Who do you got, Packers, Vikings?
I'm going to go with the Packers. Even though Aaron Rodgers probably doesn't have too many receivers, or Sammy Watkins is going to be his main receiver. For the Vikes, I'm still unsure of them. New coach, new system. Kind of want to see what they can do. I mean, if they can get Justin Jefferson obviously involved in this game and have him go crazy, they got a really good chance. But I take the slight edge and give it to the Packers.
Yeah, I'm going to go to the Vikings with this one. Another slight edge. I'm going to put like a 1-point game on this one, like a 24-23 type of game. The Vikes are at home. And I think Kirk Cousins has been given a little more control over the offense. And it seems like these new coaches, O'Connell and the offensive coordinator, Wes Phillips, coming from the Rams, are just newer coaches. They're breathing new life. And it seems the Vikings are a little bit more excited. And I think the Packers need a couple weeks to transition away from Devontae Adams. They need to see what they have. I don't think they have a backfield to lean on until that gets ready. So I think the Vikings at home, they'll take it.
I think they'll be leaning on that backfield or the short pass quite a bit, especially if Rodgers can't connect with. There's a bunch of rookies that are starting. Alan Lazard may be out, so he was supposed to be the guy kind of taking over for Devontae. So, he's still got Randall Cobb, but the other guys are all rookies. So,
did Aaron Rodgers go do some mushrooms again?
He probably does before the game. Yeah, hey, I'm surprised that is allowed. The things.
It's out of the earth, and he went down south to do it, and then it's like food. It's out of your system, so what you going to do? What you going to do? Hey, 2-time MVP.
Yeah. He probably shouldn't have won it last year. Tom Brady was pretty good last year.
Psychedelics. Bucs and Cowboys. Talk about Tom Brady. I'm going to take the Bucs on this one. Tom Brady has never lost to the Cowboys, 6-0 all time, and it's not going to happen this week. Both teams having O-line issues, but I think with the veteran of Brady, they'll be fine. They'll be fine.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Tampa as well. Like you said, can the O-line keep Brady upright? I think Brady's good enough to get rid of that ball when he needs to, especially if he's getting hurt. Dak Prescott, he's got CeeDee Lamb, Schultz, and then it's mysteries at other position. Zeke, Pollard, who's it going to be? Zeke is obviously downturning a little bit. So Pollard may end up taking that backfield over by, halfway through the season. But I think in this first week game, Tampa will take it.
Yeah, Dallas. I'm not believing Dallas at all this year. I'm sorry. Overrated. They're not going to win the AFC East.
No, and then the O-line, when they were good, their O-line was their bread and butter. Yes, I know Zeke was their guy, but it was the O-line blocking for him that helped him quite a bit. And right now that is, they lost Smith, so it's in a bit of state of a flux. So,
yeah, they're in trouble. Let's look at this next matchup: Mahomes, Murray, Chiefs, Cards. Who are you taking in this one?
I'm going to go with the Chiefs.
You don't say.
Yeah, I know it's a new look offense, not a new look offense for Mahomes, but maybe new weapons. No more Tyreek. You still got Travis Kelce, but Mahomes said he's spreading that ball around. Yeah. Biggest concern for me though is Carolina. The Cardinals, they're down Hopkins through suspension. They just lost Rondale Moore with a hamstring injury in practice today. So really you only got Hollywood Brown there.
You have a QB there that doesn't do his homework. That's part of his new contract. You got this guy making big prime time. Let me get to it. Big prime time money, and initially he has to do this homework clause, and then they're forced to take it out. But the damage is done.
Yeah.
Like the guy doesn't do the work. He's overrated. Cliff Kingsbury is nowhere near the class of coaches in the NFC West. They're gonna get. I think the Chiefs are gonna beat them by double digits.
Well, yeah, J.J. Watt also questionable too. So if that defense can't handle Mahomes, it's going to get ugly fast. And Kyler, we saw Kyler when he doesn't have Hopkins in that lineup, he struggles even more.
Any quarterback that loses a receiver like DeAndre Hopkins, arguably one of the best receiver in the league, for sure you're going to suck.
Man, he's still got AJ Brown, right?
From Cincinnati?
Cincinnati.
Come on, man. Give me a break. Give me a break. Good luck, Cards. Sorry, Cliff, former Blue Bomber. I'd like to see you win, but it's not going to happen. Final matchup of the week: Raiders and Chargers. I'm going to take the Chargers in a high-scoring squeaker on this one. I'm just not going to buy into the Raiders and Carr and Adams with McDaniels. I want to see that for a couple weeks before I buy into that. So I'm just going to go for Chargers, wanting the revenge from last year, losing the finale to miss the playoffs.
Yeah, when they could have got a tie and made it in. I'm going with the Chargers as well. I have the same question. How will Devontae, Carr, and McDaniels mesh together? Question on the Chargers side, is Herbert ready to take that next step? And I think he is. He's gotten better and better every year. A lot of it is expected of the Chargers this year again. You know, and it's time for them to take that next step because we've seen the Chargers over the years, even going back to the Phillip Rivers, LaDainian Tomlinson days, you know, always having those good teams, but never being able to take that next step. So it's time. Can Herbert do it? It's a tough division there, and you have to get off on the right foot. I'm looking forward to this game, though, because I think it'll be a high-scoring affair. Defense is going to suffer, but it's going to be an awesome game.
If there's any week that really they want to try and go off with Carr and Devontae Adams, might as well do it when they don't have J.C. Jackson in San Diego. They're always going to be San Diego.
Los Angeles.
No, San Diego.
Los Angeles.
San Diego. And don't worry, I'm going to start calling those 49ers the Santa Clara 49ers because they're 49 miles away from home. That's going to start happening.
San Diego and Los Angeles, they're different. They're in Los Angeles now. They're not in San Diego.
No, it's always going to be San Diego to me. I'm going to call them San Diego. Watch me.
Are you going to call them just the like Arlington Cowboys?
Just like Oakland.
Oakland.
Arlington's a lot closer to Dallas than Santa Clara is to San Francisco.
Santa Clara is 45 minutes away.
It's a 49 mile trek. It's the longest in all of NFL.
Yeah, 45 minutes away, 49 minutes away, big deal.
No, 49 miles.
Yeah, miles. It's like a mile a minute, basically.
It's still the longest trek. Arlington's closer. Benny, you got a Brickhead this week.
Yeah, you.
Oh, no, he's getting mad, eh? Now he's getting mad because his team's farthest away and it makes no sense that they're called San Francisco. Don't hate on me, man. That's just the facts.
Listen, they never should have left San Francisco anyways.
I agree.
But San Francisco wasn't playing ball. And Jed York got a sweet deal in Santa Clara.
And Jed still kept the name of San Fran. Good for you, Jed.
No, he wasn't going to change it. He would have got killed. He would have got
good thing.
He would have got taken out back and probably wouldn't have came back out if he switched that name.
Jed. So Jed's not your Brickhead then?
Nah, I like Jed now. He's a good guy. He's learned how to stay out of the business and just let his guys do it. So
what 5 years can do, eh? What 5 years can do.
Well, since Shanahan came, what's that been? 5 years? Yeah. So anyways.
Well, who's your Brickhead?
Going back on the Brickhead, we're going back to this well again. And we're going back to Hockey Canada and CEO Scott Smith. As much as I don't want to talk about these guys anymore and all this stuff, but the fact that he was sent to Denmark for the Women's World Championships to hand out the medals to Team Canada. Yeah. You know, that took away the focus from Canada winning. Now everyone's talking about him handing out these medals. There was no reason for it. The Canadian women didn't even want him there. They wanted a new Hockey Canada. They even said that in a letter. Yeah. And then the fact that they had to accept their earned medals from this guy is awful. It's another tone-deaf move by Hockey Canada. So my Brickhead goes to Hockey Canada and CEO Scott Smith.
What a joke. Is there no head of like the women's team in Hockey Canada that could have given those medals away?
No, I don't think so. I think it's all just one head of Hockey Canada altogether. So
that's ridiculous because there's a different head of like who does the Olympic team to the World Junior team. There must be someone who runs a women's program It's just a mess.
Man, you could have got anyone. You could have got any woman who used to play, Haley Wickenheiser, anybody that, retired that could have handed all these medals to these women instead of this guy. But that's Hockey Canada for you, man. I don't know. They think they're either untouchable or they're the smartest people in the world. I'm not sure which one.
And why isn't the government really forcing them to open up their books? Why does it take like the ND? I don't want to get into politics, but it takes another political party to force them to try and open up their books financially to see how their money's being spent. This is ridiculous.
There's a lot more going on with them too beyond this, with the high-rise apartments, the swanky affairs, and all that stuff. So
of course,
it just goes. The list is long.
Only the tip of the iceberg, folks.
Yes.
Let's look at some good folks. You got any shout-outs?
Yeah, I got a couple here. I'm going to give one out to the Winnipeg Goldeyes, who started the first round of the playoffs last night. Yep. They won game 1, so good luck to them. I believe it's the 3-game series for the first one, or 5. I think it's 3. So good luck to them as they make their quest for a championship.
Right on. Shout out to the Canadian women's rugby sevens playing at the World Cup in Cape Town, Africa. Action starts on Friday. They're ranked 5th. Behind the Americans at 4th. They just recently placed 4th in the Commonwealth Games, and this is actually a tournament where one loss means you're out of the championship contention.
Wow, that's a tough one.
So, yeah, all the best to Team Canada. What's your other shout-out?
Oh, yeah, I guess I should have said that already. I'm giving it out to Valour FC, who is on a tear and making a push for the playoffs. It's good to see that they've won 3 in a row. They're unbeaten in 4. They've only lost once in their last 7, so tied for a playoff spot, 5 games left. Hopefully they can continue that run and make a playoff push and get to the playoffs for the first time.
Go Valour.
Yeah. Go check out a game. You know what? I got to give a quick shout out to my team here too, Napoli, for thrashing Liverpool in the Champions League too. Forgot about them.
Benny, you got anything to say to the people?
You know what? Thanks a lot for listening, and have a good weekend.
And in the famous words of Manny Arsenault, in order to start winning, we have to stop losing. Hey, friends and neighbors, don't forget to check us out online on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter at Ray Benny Sports. And don't forget to check out our YouTube channel. Leave a like, leave a comment, tell us what you think.